the rest of the NBA fans. How you guys doing today, man? Got a lot to talk about today. Very excited because we got the NBA draft coming up tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So I'll be here breaking down pick by pick, at least for the first round. And then Summer League dropped. The schedule dropped already. First game starting August 8th versus the Phoenix Suns. It ain't the real team, but it's going to be the young up and coming players or the ones trying to get a crack at the roster. So that's going to be entertaining. I will still be here to cover pre and post game per usual and all that good stuff, man. But let's settle in because we got some rumors, man, some juicy rumors to talk about. And amongst many other things, Laker related and non-Laker related, but it all impacts us one way or another. Now, let's start off with the rumor of the day, guys. Let's kick it off with the whole Kuzma for Joe Ingles trade proposal. All right. So rumor has it that the Lakers propose. I'm not sure if it was the Lakers or the Jazz, or they were in preliminary talks for Joe Ingles for Kyle Kuzma. Now, here's my thing about that. Okay, picks were gonna have to be involved, and it would have been our 22nd pick for their 30th pick. Now, I love me some Joe Ingles. I think he's great. I mean, defensively, he's an upgrade. Offensively, I think he's a bit more consistent. And playmaking-wise, he will definitely benefit this roster. However, I don't love the pick swap, okay? I don't love trading down to 30th, even though, the Lakers historically, notoriously, have gotten great players from anywhere. So that really doesn't matter regardless of if it happens or not. What I really wanted to break down is, the Jazz turned it down. Thank you, bro, for clearing that up. So what I really wanted to break down was that a good offer on our part? And, why do we still have to move down to the 30th slot? I think Kuz for English one-on-one would be fair for me. Why? Because for one, they get a young, defensive, talented wing who can get hot and score buckets, and he's younger as well. For two, they've already proven to get young talent from the Lakers. Not directly from us, but they came from us. We groomed and drafted Jordan Clarkson, and look, he panned out. So, it's a low risk, high reward for them. It didn't work out with Ingles and Bogdanovich, so I think it'd be a fair trade 1-for-1. And for those reasons, I'm not a big fan of that trade. So I am kind of glad that the Jazz turned it down because from what I had heard earlier this week, and I wanted to make a video, guys. What's up? Welcome to the chat. I wanted to make a video earlier this week about it because I have heard the Lakers were actually trying to move into the lottery. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd be completely fine with it, depending on what we offer up, of course. But the Lakers in the lottery didn't make sense to me for two reasons. For one, all right, we always known for getting mid to late first round pick steals, anyways. So to give up an extra asset to move up just for us wouldn't make sense. However, the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, this is gonna be for another blockbuster deal involving that same pick, right? Obviously, the Lakers already probably tried to make a blockbuster deal for either Russell Westbrook or Buddy Hield or any said name player, and it hasn't fell through yet. But maybe the lottery pick would have sweetened the deal. Personally, me though, I wonder what was involved in those trade offers, because they were also turned down. I think one to the Pacers for number 13 and one to the Warriors. I'm not sure if that one's legit for number 14. Supposedly, we had talks with them. Now, again, the Lakers are going to have options and free agency just starting. One key date to look forward to is July 31st. I thought it was the 29th. I had read somewhere it was the 29th, but Montrezl Harrell has till July 31st to opt in or to opt out. Now, earlier in the week, there were rumors again. They're going to be flip-flopping. Nothing is set in stone. People are speculating right now. But earlier in the week, there were rumors about Montrezl Harrell potentially leaning towards opting in. Now, today, I heard rumors about him potentially leaning towards opting out. So we really don't know what's going to happen there with Trez, man. And I guess we're going to get past the draft and still not know up until August 1st. So July 31st, I think by 9 p.m. Pacific time will be his deadline to either opt in or opt out. So that is interesting to me as well. Now, we do have some Laker news here, guys. I do want to get that out of the way real quick before we get into the chat. The Lakers lose Ryan Hollins, who was an assistant coach in Frank Vogel's coaching staff. You guys know him. And Mike, let me see if I don't butcher his name here. Mike Pentberthy to assume a larger role. I don't know who this guy is. I've probably seen him once or twice during the season on the sideline. He's an assistant coach that was already on the staff. So it does hurt a little bit to lose Ryan Hollins. Apparently, his role wasn't defined within the whole Frank Vogel system. So, I mean, that really explains a lot. All right. Chemistry issues we had. Plus, if the coaching staff wasn't on the same page, that explains a lot of the, downward spiral we had during the season, especially after the injuries. But all in all, look, people are saying nobody wants Kuzma. That's not true. I actually have been reading multiple reports coming from different sources stating that teams are actually interested in acquiring Kuz. However, they might be trying to lowball us because they know that his value is not at an all-time high after the poor performance he had in the playoffs. So they might be trying to lowball us, but I think Rob Pelinka, being a shark that he is, he's going to wait around until, till the big fish bites. He's probably going to sit around. My prediction is we land either Buddy Hield or Russell Westbrook with Kuzma involved in that trade package. That's my prediction, man. That is my prediction. So let's see if that comes to fruition. Another name to watch out for, and this is another rumor right here that just surfaced today, is Lonzo Ball. Why? Because rumor says that he's leaving the Pelicans almost for sure, and they probably won't match any offers unless it's like really low, which I doubt he would sign anyways. So Lonzo Ball could be an option here via sign and trade, depending again what Trez does and what Dennis Schroeder does as well in free agency. So a lot is hanging in the balance. I wouldn't lose too much sleep, except tomorrow could be very telling in the draft. A lot of teams are moving. Another name to look out for again is Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal could be dealt tomorrow night during the draft. Again, tune in, guys. I'll be here covering it at 5 p.m. Pacific time, pick for pick analysis by your boy. And we'll be heading into the comment section as well. It's always fun. Every year we do the draft. So, that should be fun. And then, again, Bradley Beal, according to reports, is leaning towards asking out of Washington. Now, multiple sources have stated that he was not very happy for multiple reasons with the front office. And depending on, I don't know what, but depending on, I guess, what kind of conversations they have leading up to the draft, they're either going to decide to move forward with him on the team, or it could be draft day that he gets traded and, they move in a different direction. So, the draft can be very telling, guys. I'm super hyped. How y'all feeling about the draft? Let's head over to the comment section for a little bit, see what you guys think. He said, really doubt it's Westbrook. He said he's going to the Hornets. You're talking about Lonzo? That would be intriguing, but they got way too many guards. They'd have to get rid of one of them. They got Malik Monk over there. They got Devontae Graham. They got Teddy Rozier. They got LaMelo. So they got too many. He said, hey, Dan, we need an offensive coach also, Lakers for life from the Philippines. We got one, man. We got an offensive coach already. I don't know if you heard, man. So we already got one. We're good, bro, on that end. He said, do you think Joe Ingles' rumor is true? I'm not sure because, again, Shams and Woj are my main go-tos when it comes to rumors, but I'm not sure, bro. To be honest, there's all kinds of rumors flying everywhere, and it's been hard to just take them all in. But I'll say this. A lot is going to be telling leading up to tomorrow's draft. We'll see what happens. We might hear some trades during the draft, maybe some after, maybe some before. He said Lonzo Ball will be a Clipper. Watch and see, Big Dan. I hope not, Liz. I hope you're wrong. Appreciate you, Ben. Appreciate you, man. Love you too. He said, what up, Dan? He said, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been like 2-3 days. It's been like 2-3 days. I miss y'all as per usual, but I was waiting to get enough intel, enough to conversate with you guys and really break down these rumors. Now, I got some more things to talk about here, but I wanted to get your guys' insight and you guys' comments. You guys know I love hearing you guys' analysis on everything that's going on right now. He said Lakers going to have a super challenging at any star player that teams won't allow it. We don't know that, man, because look, the Lakers do have, contrary what reports were telling us, remember, these analysts are always wrong. They were saying we didn't have a lot of cap space, which is true. They say we didn't have a lot of flexibility with assets. That's not true. There's been multiple reports of teams really interested in certain players on the Lakers. Guys like Dennis, guys like Montrezl Harrell. Hopefully both of those guys we can use as assets if we don't keep them. Guys like Kuz, KCP's name has even surfaced. So, and especially I think our highest coveted asset besides the 22nd pick is Talen Horton-Tucker. So we have plenty here to move around with and to play with, and let's see what creativity Rob Pelinka uses at the end of the day, it could be something really surprising. We could end up with Miles Turner. We're over here talking about Buddy and Russell and all these players. We could end up with Miles Turner and Kyle Lowry for all we know. It could be something we don't expect. So let's just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And it'll be interesting. Appreciate you, Liz. He said it's going to be interesting tomorrow. Yes, sir. Again, make sure you guys tune in 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I will be right here. Hopefully, if God willing, man, we'll be ready. I haven't heard any other news about Westbrook. It's been quiet on that front, but there has been little, tea leaves that I've already broke down in the past videos. The reason why I think he's a real possibility, like a real possibility. Now we're gonna talk about some other names that could be on the move that could also impact the league that isn't really Laker related. But we already talked about Bradley Beal, and right now in a bit I'm gonna get into these other names. Now the eye emojis are out on Twitter because a lot of names could be on the move. I even heard a unnamed executive say that this could be a record-breaking offseason for trades due to the high interest in multiple teams to move certain players and even star players like Ben Simmons, Bradley Beal, etc. So we're gonna have our work cut out this summer, man. I love breaking down basketball, so it's a blessing for me. Thank you guys for joining. He said the hate is real from Woj. He said Lake Show all day. That's why we got this channel, man. This is our sanctuary. No hate, all real. Right here, we keep it $1.50. We only let real Laker fans comment in the comment section. The fake ones get blocked. You know how it goes. And yeah, there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of saltiness out there. For those networks because we probably beat their childhood favorite teams, right? But at the end of the day, look, it is what it is, man. We're here to break down rumors, and I feel like the Lakers, no matter what move they do, we're gonna improve. Rob Pelinka has proven that he is somebody who's active. Matter of fact, the rumors can confirm that, right? According to the rumors, he had Shep, Kuz, and KCP and different combinations and packages to every single team in the league. That's saying something. I personally, I prefer a front office GM that does his due diligence and make sure that we get the maximum value in return. Now, that's not always going to translate. That's not always going to translate to the best potential trade, but 9 times out of 10, at least if he does his research and he makes the right calls, we could end up with some sort of a steal deal, right? We could end up with some player that's undervalued in the league and can bring some real value to this team. Now, the other teams. All right, the other rumors I wanted to talk about, all right, non-Laker related, right quick, just a side note. The Thunder tried to, according to multiple reports, the Thunder, OKC, they tried to trade Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the number 6 pick for the number 1 overall pick, which everybody knows is probably going to be Cade Cunningham, right? And this is my break on that. Now, I do have fans of this channel that aren't necessarily Laker fans, but they respect my insight, so I wanted to give that to them. My take on that whole situation is, listen, man, when you have a young stud like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you don't move him for an unproven player. For all we know, he can end up being the next Andrew Wiggins, which isn't a bad thing. But remember, when Andrew Wiggins was coming out of the draft, people said he was the next T-Mac, the next Kobe Bryant. He could end up being one of those, or maybe the next Markelle Fultz. We don't know. So for you to give up a proven commodity plus your lottery pick for a player like Cade, I don't care if it's Cade Cunningham, Cade Green Eggs and Ham. He's unproven, guys. We don't know if his game's going to translate to the next level. Now, I'm not saying I don't like the young talent. I do. I've been doing my research on him. I really like him. I like his size for his position. He seems really good. I mean, scouts are going above and beyond, and they're over here. They're over here comparing him to Jason Tatum and comparing him to Luka. 9 times out of 10, these comparisons never come to fruition, right? These are lazy comparisons to me. I don't really have a comparison for him. I didn't watch enough of him during college for me to say something about him, right? But why would the Thunder try to trade their future franchise piece in Gilgeous-Alexander, who is a very nice piece, on top of all the draft picks they have to build around him, instead of just continuing to build through him? They're trying to flip him already. That's where I have a problem with certain GMs. It's like, bro, you guys have something nice, you get rid of it. That pisses me off, This is an NBA 2K. You're not looking for the next best thing every year. That's a high risk, high reward type move. And if it pays off, great. But if it doesn't, you can end up losing your job off of moves like that. That's all I got to say about that, man. Any Thunder fans in here got offended by that trade proposal? Because you know what? Not only that, but now they're putting doubt in the young players' mind. all of a sudden he's thinking, oh, whoa, 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 I thought I was a part of this future. What the heck is going on? Right? So I don't know. It was all bad. Now, I want to talk about Ben Simmons as well, right? They've been actively shopping Ben Simmons ever since they found out that his real name before he changed it, before he changed his government name was Brick Simmons. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is that he came in here with no jump shot, and they didn't really develop him. Reminds you of somebody, Philly? That reminds me of Markelle Fultz, all right? For some reason, the Sixers aren't great at developing young talent. They get lucky when they get great ones like Joel Embiid, who from day one are dominant. But yeah, that hasn't really translated for Ben Simmons, and I feel bad for him. Now, rumor has it Washington is interested in him. I really doubt that because outside of Bradley Beal, I don't see. Maybe Russell Westbrook could be included in the package. Maybe Rui Hachimura. Maybe but I don't know. I think they can. I think for Bradley Beal, the Wizards can get a lot more. The one team to look out for when it comes to Bradley Beal potentially asking for a trade is the Golden State Warriors. I think they're targeting Bradley Beal, and I think that could be a draft night Woj bomb, or should we say a Dan bomb? Because you heard it here first. That could really happen. Bradley Beal could end up being, on on the Golden State Warriors by the end of tomorrow night, and that's scary to me in the Western Conference because if you put him with Curry with a healthy Clay, now you got 3 splash bros. And you still got Draymond, and they're probably going to still have somebody like James Wiseman or Wiggins, really solid role players as well. The league better watch out. And this is why I want the Lakers to do their best, their absolute best, to improve their roster to the best of their ability. I said Jalen Green is getting Jordan and Kobe comparisons under his YouTube highlights. People are crazy, Dan. Yeah, you know what? I don't like to make those type of comparisons. I like to say sometimes I will make the comparison, but I say he reminds me a little bit of, but I'm never gonna say he's the next. Like they said about Booker being the next Kobe. Like it's ridiculous, man. The amount of pressure that young players coming in with to have that type of weight on his shoulders is ridiculous. You want to let him be his own player. He said, "Hey Dan, Lakers interested in Landry Shamet. Thank you for reminding me. That's the one rumor I forgot to put in my notes, and that's probably how I feel about Shamet. That to me is not gonna move the needle. Landry Shamet is a very good young player. I wouldn't say very good. I say solid young player. Okay, he shoots very well from beyond the arc, and he's an okay defender. That's not the type of player we need personally. And now, if we added a star player and we made other moves to address certain needs, and then we add him after that, then I'd be okay with it. But I've never been per se a Landry Shamet fan. Maybe it's because my biasness of him playing for the Clippers. So I really thought he was overrated. But even with the Nets, like, nah. Personally, me, I want to shoot for better players. I think the Lakers are capable of landing better players, especially if we build that super team. Then I think the rumors are saying that, veterans are willing to take pay cuts to come and win a championship. So remember, the DeMar DeRozan rumor is still red hot. The whole I was going to say Ben McLemore. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we do need to re-sign Ben McLemore. But the whole Buddy Hield rumor is still red hot. Apparently, the Lakers are close to both of those deals. But this is why you can't believe all the rumors, okay? I just mentioned them to you guys so you guys can take them with a grain of salt. I still think the highest probability is for us to land Russell Westbrook. Or Kyle Lowry in free agency, depending on if there's a sign and trade required. But in my opinion, it's going to be one of those 2 lead guards. Obviously, Chris Paul would have been an option, but they have mutual interest in re-signing him in Phoenix. So therefore, I think that's out the window. But in my opinion, from the beginning, we've heard that the Lakers wanted a lead guard, especially after the fallout we had with Dennis Schroeder. So what that tells me now is that mindset hasn't changed. And as good as Buddy Hield is, he's not a lead guard unless we're going for both. Unless we're going to get either Kyle Lowry and DeRozan or Kyle Lowry and Buddy Hield, or Russell Westbrook and Buddy Hield. Unless we're going to get a combination, that rumor doesn't make that much sense to me. So I still think the Lakers are in high pursuit of a starting guard who's actually capable of staying off of Call of Duty and focusing on the Laker games when they're playing at least. If you're injured, I at least want you watching, studying your teammates' tendencies and focused on the Lakers, right? I don't want you playing Call of Duty while we're in the second, third quarter. That's ridiculous. He said, "Hey, Dan, what do you think of this, bro?" I always lose people's comments when they write me paragraphs. So Let's see. He said, "Hey Dan, what do you think of this, bro?" He said, "Keldon Johnson for Kuz. I think he can be great for us, and he can be part of the future." I like Keldon Johnson, for sure. I like Keldon Johnson, but like I said, those type of players are good side moves. They're not good main moves. I don't want the Shamets, the Keldon Johnsons to be our main priorities this offseason. If you catch my drift, I'm saying I wouldn't mind adding those players after we made our primary moves. Right? Does that make sense, Laker Nation? That's just me though. I like Keldon Johnson, nice 3-and-D type player, obviously perfect for the Spurs, and he would fit in Frank Vogel's schemes. But he's not the main pursuit here. The main pursuit is somebody with a good track record of being able to hold their own. And, that's Kyle Lowry, that's Russell Westbrook, players like that. Obviously, the dream would have been Lillard, but he doesn't seem to be wanting anywhere anytime soon, or Bradley Beal, but they seem to probably going to ask a lot for him. So realistically, I'm thinking DeRozan, I'm thinking, Russell Westbrook, I'm thinking maybe Kyle Lowry, depending on what his asking price is. There's other more realistic up to par trades that I think we should worry about first before we worry about Landry Shamet and Keldon Johnson. But that's just me. I could be wrong, and these players could move the needle for you guys. But I'm just saying. He said, Dan Shooter isn't going to agree to a sign and trade. He has options in free agency. That's fine. We have his bird right. So if he wants more money, he has to do with a sign and trade. That's our advantage. His advantage is that if he doesn't care, if a team's going to overvalue him regardless, then the bird rights, you can overthrow that out the window. But look, even let's just say worst case scenario, both Trez and, he opts out, and then Dennis, he chooses not to sign with us. We're going to have a little bit of cap space there. I believe Trez would be leaving $9 million on the table, right? And I think so I'm not sure how that would work. I'm not a cap expert here, guys, especially after the new CBA. So I don't want to get you guys all excited and stuff, but maybe that would help us land a DeMar DeRozan straight up. Remember, he's an unrestricted free agent. So maybe certain players just walking and leaving a little bit of more cap space might help us. Maybe an extra trade here to clear up a little more cap. Maybe we can give, your guy his rifle. Look, rumor has it he's looking between 20 and 23 mil. That's the pay cut he's looking for. He's not looking for 9 mil. If he does, God bless his soul, man. But, if he doesn't take that 9 mil, I think the Lakers can still wiggle in some cap space to make it work for DeMar DeRozan. Now, if you have that trilogy of LeBron, AD, and DeMar, you're wreaking havoc, no matter who you add next to them. Obviously, they're going to need some floor spacers. Bring back players like McLemore. If you can go out and get other players, maybe then a Landry Shamet would make more sense. Again, Lakers just have to play their cards right. And I have no doubt that Rob has something up his sleeve. I think he has an ace. He's waiting. He's just waiting for the moment. Now, remember, Kyle Kuzma's poison pill contract comes up on August, I think, 1st or 2nd. All right. And then his contract becomes more tradable. So maybe that's the only thing holding up a trade. Maybe these rumors saying that our trades were rejected are false. It's just that, that's what they're hearing. But the reality could be that the only thing holding up the trade is multiple things. Whether Trez is going to opt in or out, they could be included in the package, or Dennis as well. So I'm taking the wait and see approach, but I also like to speculate. It's always fun. Another rumor, non-Laker related, that I'm very intrigued by is Pascal Siakam could be on the trade block. What do you guys think about Pascal Siakam? Now, obviously, I doubt we have what it takes to get a player like that, but his trade value did go down a little bit because he struggled, ever since the team became his, like fully his. After Kawhi left, he hasn't had the same type of season. He said, big contract for guys that never and will ever win a championship. I'd rather invest in youngsters. That's not the right mindset for the Lakers, brother. The Lakers aren't going to invest in youngsters unless we get our stars players first, okay? So once we get that third option, that consistent third option, then maybe they'll get a youngster or two, maybe through the draft. Maybe, like I said, a Landry Shamet would make more sense. But our priority is not youngsters right now. Our priority is championships. And everybody knows that LeBron James and Anthony Davis's window is ticking, and we have to make sure we surround them as best as possible. This guy, Cleveland Ross, says no to Lonzo Ball. So who do you prefer, Cleveland? Because I don't think J.R. Smith's available, man. I'm just playing. That's just a Cleveland joke. Since it looks like you're from Cleveland. Nah, but let me tell you something, bro. Lonzo Ball's actually solid, man. I don't know why people give him a bad rap. Now, do I want him to be the main piece? Probably not. If we get Lonzo, we better get Buddy to come with that because we're gonna need some floor spacing. But again, to me, he's like probably my second or third favorite option at the point guard position from what I see is available right now. So obviously, you would have Russell Westbrook. For me, I think people hate on him because okay, he can't shoot, he's inconsistent, this, and that. But people don't realize he's never been a third option on any team. So I think he would really succeed in that role. I think he would be successful. He would thrive as a third option. That's me personally. Then coming back to play for his hometown team, I think that's only going to add some more fuel to his fire. Plus, LeBron James just makes magic with players, man. I'm telling you right now. So that's my number one option is Russell Westbrook at the point guard. Number two, Kyle Lowry. Why? Because he has veteran experience. He's a good floor general, and he's feisty, right? And he can knock down shots. So that's my number two option. Number three, I have Lonzo Ball. All right, name me one player that's better than those top three. That's why I don't mind Lonzo. He said, "Am I crazy for wanting Westbrook over Lowry? Who do you think is a better fit and additions to the squad?" Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for the donation. You're not crazy. You're not crazy for adding Westbrook. I mean, I just basically broke it down. The reason I think he would be solid, people are missing that, okay, he's never been a third option. He's always been a first or a second. When KD was on the team, he was number two. He was a Robin. Okay, he was really good as a Robin. But he's never been a third option, right? It was always the pecking order when they were with OKC was KD number one, Russell Westbrook number two, James Harden number three off the bench, right? Then he goes over to Houston. He became a number two behind James Harden, right? And that didn't really work out. But I mean, he was solid, triple double, watch every night. Then he went to Washington again, a number two behind Bradley Beal. But now, if the Lakers trade for him, he's coming here as a number three option with not a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Okay, as a number three, he's coming here. We're probably going to surround that team with shooters. He's coming to the defensive-minded team, so that's going to help him get out in transition when we get stops and get easy buckets. And he's, again, if we acquire Russell Westbrook, we're not wanting him to be the Derek Fisher of the team, a catch and shoot guy, just spot up in the corner. No. According to multiple reports, LeBron wants to take a lot less responsibilities handling the ball so that he can prolong his career. This is where Russell Westbrook comes in. He's still tough. He's only 31. People forget he's only 31. Okay? The difference between him and Kyle Lowry is like 4 or 5 years. That's huge to me. That's why, again, he's my number one, Kyle Lowry my number two, Lonzo Ball my number three. I just hope we can get one of the three. Do you think Trez is getting used in a trade if he opts in? I'm 50-50 on it, to be honest. You know what, Omar? I think so. I think so because his tweets have been really cryptic. If you guys follow him on Twitter, everything's been a little weird over there, a little sus. So I'm curious to see what is going to go down with Montrez. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if he opts out, but then that leaves us other opportunities. We have options here, guys. Regardless of whatever they do, they're not going to handicap us by making their own decisions. Now, if he opts out, how much money can he get on the open market? I'm sure there will be a team out there that's willing to throw him, 14 to 15 mil. Sure. But since he doesn't spread the floor, since he's undersized for the center position, since he didn't get a lot of playing time and he hasn't really produced too much in the playoffs, not his fault. Again, coaching staff didn't utilize him properly, in my opinion. I think his trade value is down. Not his trade value, his free agent value is down a little bit. So he really should consider opting in and securing that for sure guaranteed $9 million. Now, also, what's going to factor here is that how quick is this going to happen, right? Free agency, once the dominoes start falling, the money starts drying up quick, and then there's less options for Trez. If he opts out, there's always an option of us bringing him back as well. So, he can opt out, and then we can rework a different contract. That's a possibility. Nets are going to be stunned. He said Nets are going to be stunned next year when the Lakers best them in the finals. I still believe that even though the Nets have all the talent in the world, I still question their chemistry. Like I said, all three of those players, super talented, okay? But they are weird off the court, and I feel like they're all divas in their own right. They can end up clashing. Look what happened in Team USA with just KD and Bam Adebayo. And that's KD's poor leadership right there. That's why Team USA has struggled, poor leadership. So it translates, guys. This is the thing, all right? Basketball's 50% skill, 50% mental. Mentally, if the Nets aren't right, Giannis might repeat and get himself to the finals. His confidence is at an all-time high. And I don't think the Bucks are going to sit on their hands and not improve their roster. They're going to look to do something. So you can't count out the champs. They are the champs, respectfully so. And you respect them still. You have to go through the champs to get to the finals, regardless, if you're the Nets. So, yes, 3 superstars are, that's cute and all. But what about the rest of the role players? Now, if players take pay cuts like they were during midway through the season to go and join that super team and look even more ridiculous and piss everybody off, then of course they're going to have a high chance. But they need bigs. I heard they were looking to trade DeAndre Jordan. They need a solid big. Okay, they got rid of one of the better ones in Jared Allen. They're going to need some good bench play. Like basically a healthy Spencer Dinwiddie would be solid there. But who knows how he's going to come back and look when they get back. So again, there's a lot of factors to making it to the finals. You can't just pencil in a team, which is the reason why I didn't have the Nets in the finals. Go back and watch my videos. I said their depth is very thin. Okay, and God forbid an injury, but they didn't make it to the finals. Robert, no. He said, Dtlf, what's your best case scenario free agency starting 5 next season? My best case scenario is that we sign DeMar DeRozan to that mid-level exception. I doubt it. Sounds like a pipe dream. If I was DeMar DeRozan, I probably would take it because I'm a diehard Laker fan. But DeMar DeRozan is a star player. Okay, he's gonna feel disrespected if the Lakers offer that. What we can do is we can offload KCP's contract and give that to DeMar if he's willing to take like a decent sized pay cut. That brings him up to like 14 to 15 mil. Okay. And then after that, we go out and we do a sign and trade for either Buddy Hield, Kyle Lowry, or DeMar DeRozan. The best fit here would be either Westbrook. Now, honestly, if we get DeMar, Kyle Lowry is probably the best fit. So having Kyle Lowry and DeMar would be probably option number A. Option number 2, although if we're just picking one free agent, like I said, if we can only acquire one or trade for one star player, I'm picking Westbrook. Just his motor. For his motor purposes. That's me. But if it's a combination of players, I think Lowry and DeRozan makes sense, or Westbrook and Buddy. Any case scenario like that would just, I think all of Laker Nation would be ecstatic, man. All of Laker Nation. Yeah, why not? If you can get 4 stars instead of 3. I mean, other teams are doing it. Look, Golden State's about to pull off a swift move. Watch. I'd be shocked if by the end of the night, Golden State made that pick and keeps it for themselves. Okay? I think if they make the pick, it's going to be for a trade then or for a trade later down the road. I don't see it. I don't see. Remember, here's the thing. Here's the thing about draft picks. Some people know it and some don't. When you make a selection, a draft pick, and once he plays, that value went down. It's almost like when you first buy your car at a dealership and you drive it off the lot, the value goes down. That's why you get that gap insurance, right? Same thing with a draft pick. As soon as he hits the floor and he gets dissected left and right, the value fell off. So it's in the best interest of teams that want to make blockbuster trades with their lottery picks to do it on draft night. That's why you sometimes see trades and blockbuster moves on draft night, right? The diehard fan knows that for sure. My man said, I wouldn't mind having Russell Westbrook. Me either, bro. You know what it is with me? I'm not even a diehard Russell Westbrook fan. I respect his skill. I love his motor. The thing about me is I got so tired of watching the nonchalantness of Dennis Schroeder and certain role players last season. I said, we need a dog, man. We need a Montrezl Harrell and a guard. And that's what you get from Russell Westbrook. You get that motor from a Trez on a guard. And if you can bring back Trez and Russell Westbrook and join the team, now you're talking about 2 dogs on the team, along with LeBron and AD, that we can wreak havoc. But that's just how I feel. You guys agree, disagree with me? I know a lot of people don't want him. My man Vitali said, DTLF John Wall? John Wall. His injury problems, man. His durability issues. That's the only thing I question about John Wall. But I like him. Depends, man. It depends. It'd have to be like one of the last resort type stuff, man. I don't like his contract. I don't like his injury situation and stuff like that. He said, how about George Hill? George Hill is a solid veteran off the bench. I don't want those kind of guys starting. See, somebody been asking me about Eric Bledsoe. Problem I have with Eric Bledsoe is he hasn't been consistently good since he left Phoenix. All right. We're talking about 6 years ago. Right now, to me, Eric Bledsoe's not a starter. Not especially because guards are trending at a taller size now. So now you got the LaMelos. You're gonna have the 6'5" point guards and up. You know, the Doncic's. You're gonna have those type of players. So what you want to do is you want more size from the point guard position. Okay, that's why I prefer Westbrook over Lowry too. Size matters. You know, it matters. He can even help on the boards. And now, what was the question again? Oh yeah, we're talking about. Geez, I forgot what the question was. My next question: Kemba Walker. Not for the price. If they buy him out on a discount off the bench as a 6-man, sure. But here's the thing about coach. Okay, the thing about coach is he has to be able to define roles early in the season. I don't want to see this flip-flopping of different roles midway through the season and like 10 different starting lineups by the time we get to the playoffs. No, define the roles. So if you get a player like Kemba, make sure he is that 6-man because he's not capable of being a starter on a championship team. You know, that's what they should have did to Dennis. That's what they should have did to Dennis. And I feel like Frank Vogel didn't have the cojones to make the moves he has to do. You have to be able to look your player in the eye and be like, listen, Dennis, y'all here playing Call of Duty, man. Caruso's taking your job. Or you know what? Taylor Horn Tucker's hungrier than you. He's taking your job. We need them type of coaches, man. I'm serious. Like, because if we end up with another player like Eric Bledsoe, and then he feels entitled and he's like, I should start as soon as we acquire him, just like Dennis. Guess what? We're going to have another problem, man. We might as well flip him straight to the G League or something, man. Like, I'm going to be fed up if that happens. We need to leave all the egos at the door. So if we do trade for Russell Westbrook, they need to have that sit-down conversation they had with Dwight with Westbrook too. And I know that sounds a little too extra, but you got to be like, hey, man, are you willing to, leave your ego at the door for the betterment of the team? And if he says yes, swiftly pull off the trade. Swiftly, man, because I'm telling you right now, that's going to be a scary team. The DTLF, do you think Westbrook is a good chemistry fit? I think at this point, he doesn't want to be a journeyman. Okay? I think he's ready to come home. I think he will respect LeBron James and AD. They already have a good friendship. I think he can leave his ego. I really do. I believe it. Come on, Rondo left his ego, man. Rondo hadn't been this good as he was on the Lakers since he was a Celtic. That's how long it had been. He didn't work out anywhere else. Now, he performed solid in the playoffs for Chicago Bulls, but once he became a journeyman, they start understanding, okay, when I play for a franchise like the Lakers, leave all the bullshit at home. Okay, you come here to play. The great ones understand that. And I think Russell Westbrook is great enough and smart enough to understand that and do what it do, man. I'm ready. I'm really ready for it. I'm ready to break down whatever move we do and how the fit works. Matter of fact, tomorrow in the draft, man, I'm very curious what the Lakers are going to do. Are we going to move down and get multiple picks? That's an option. Rob has done it before with Kuz and with all these guys. That was Mitch, wasn't it? But yeah, are we going to buy a pick? Are we going to trade up into the lottery? Are we going to flip all the picks for a star player? Like, what's going to happen? My mind is racing, guys. My heart is beating really fast. The closer we get to the draft, it's an exciting time. He said, the Bucks school, he is not coming. He said, I'm happy, go lucky. Whose sources? What? Westbrook Lakers. He said, me too curious. The detail of what do Lakers do for a big? What do the Lakers do for a big? I've mentioned this before, but I'll repeat it. I think if Dwight Howard's not an option and Drummond doesn't want to resign for the minimum, because that's what he played like the minimum, then I think we should go for like a Noel. I would really love a Noel. Now, I doubt he leaves Tom Thibodeau in the Knicks, but if somehow LeBron could get on the phone and work his magic, Noel would be dope, man. And he don't even got to start. He can come off the bench. Been hearing rumors of AD starting at center. If that happens, that's going to be crazy. But Noel off the bench and sometimes starting, depending on matchups, just to help up in the front court, especially in the playoffs, would be very, very good. He's a real rim protector. All right. If anything, he's good for catching lobs. That's it. Somebody asked me, what about Whiteside? Whiteside, Hassan Whiteside. I'm on the fence about him, fam. I like him. I like him, and I think he will also fall under the leadership of LeBron James. But I just want him to be focused. That's all. Are we keeping Ben McLemore? We should. He was a very efficient shooter for us. Now, obviously, he's not the best defender, but yeah, very very efficient shooter. Um, Very nice off the catch and shoot. LeBron definitely likes floor spacers like that. It allows him to operate and get in the paint and do his thing. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to keep Ben McLemore. I don't. But it depends on how much money he wants, but he shouldn't want too much. I mean, he's a role player, so yeah, why not? How about Damian Jones? Damian Jones, you mean the athlete, the one that jumps out the building? Uh, I like athletic wings. I do. I'm not sure if Trevor Reese is available, but I'd still take a flyer on him. Um, would I trade who? AD for Joel? Hell no. Hell no, Vitali. That's a hell no. I'm not trading AD. I'm not trading my franchise. I'm not trading my 28-year-old phenom who doesn't grow on trees. I'm just not doing it based off of one injury. I'm sorry. Call me naive. Call me hard headed. I'm not doing it. I think AD, when healthy, he's better than any big in the league. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this man was an absolute beast on his way to the finals in the bubble. So I've seen it once. I'm sure I will see it again. And plus, Joel Embiid, Joel Embiid is injured more times than not. So you guys already talk about AD's injury. You're really not getting anything better in Joel. He's injured almost every season, it seems. This guy wants Kuzma gone. Join the club. There's a bunch of people here that despise Kuz, man. But personally, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this about Kuz. I feel like Kyle Kuzma is very undervalued here because we are spoiled and we're used to instant results. We didn't allow him to develop properly. Coaching staff really didn't, give him his wings. So I think you will see that depending on what team he goes. But let's just say he goes to Sacramento or somewhere where he can become a one or a two. I think you'll see an 18 point per game at the very least. Kuz, I think it could go all the way up to 22 per. Now it's not going to be effective because it's going to be on a losing team, but at least people will stop calling him a bum and stuff because they don't like the color of his hair. I think that's immature. Um, so AD needs to work on his body. He is fragile and clumsy. I will admit that Anthony Davis does need to stop falling so much because every time he throws himself to the ground or flaps or falls, he risks injury. So, my thoughts on Kuz. He requires touches to be on fire. I agree. You're right. You know what? Wynette, you're absolutely right. And that's just the thing. He is a volume scorer, right? And it's hard for those guys to catch a rhythm. Like he said in a recent interview, when they're not in rhythm and they can't really get a flow for the game, when they got limited shots and not a defined role. So this has always been a criticism for me from Frank Vogel. For example, Taylor Horton Tucker played amazing regular season, came playoff time. I get it, he's young, but he didn't even give him an opportunity, even when the other guards were struggling. I need my coach to be more situational and to make better adjustments on the fly, especially if you're coaching for the Lakers. I think there's a reason the Lakers haven't reached an agreement yet with Frank Vogel because I think this is a question mark season for him. Better get us to the championship, or you better get out of LA. I think it's a harsh reality. But if we get a good enough roster to win and he doesn't lead us there, if he doesn't make the proper moves and he doesn't inspire players and demands their respect and defines roles, then he's probably going to be out too after this season. He said, don't think Frank Vogel is the coach of the future. I agree with that, especially if he doesn't make the right adjustments, just like I said right now. Thanks for donation, Shakir. Appreciate you, bro. He said, Dan, what do you think of the Lakers trying to acquire Landry Shamet? I pretty much already mentioned it, bro, but for those of you that just joined, I'm not the biggest Landry Shamet fan. Again, part of that is because he spent a lot of his time playing for two teams I despise, the Nets and the Clippers. But biased aside, he's a very solid shooter. I wouldn't be mad if we acquired him, but this better not be the big time splash we're talking about because then I'd be mad. We need better players. We need proven players. We need players that have a chip on their shoulder and are ready to kill every position. Every position they have to have that dog mentality, that Montrezl Harrell on a guard mentality. And that's what I really want. He said Ty Lue, Vogel all got carried by LeBron. Oh, LeBron fans. Y'all funny, man. We love LeBron here in LA, man, but not everything's about LeBron, bro. Now, you want to talk about carrying, LeBron and AD definitely carried a lot of the load as they should. They're superstars. But you also have to give credit to Anthony Davis. LeBron doesn't win that championship without AD, and vice versa. You know. He said Kuz needs to be LeBron's sub and let him understand his role. He would be great off the bench, but he can only play when LeBron's not on the floor. I'll say this, man. I'll say this about Kyle Kuzma. He was so much better before LeBron arrived to LA, and that's not knocking. Trust me, I much rather trade Kuz than LeBron not arriving to LA. But all I'm saying is he was developing at a good pace. I can see why Kuz would be upset. And then bam, backseat. And then AD gets here, bam, double backseat. And then, so it's like it's disheartening for a young player when you're on a rebuilding team and you're building chemistry. He had all his friends traded away and everything. He had to adjust to that. And then the pressures of playing with superstars like AD and LeBron under the bright lights of LA with our fans that are very, we've got the best fans in the world, but we're very impatient. That's for sure. So, I think he's better suited on the back burner on a team that doesn't have all the limelight on it. And then once he develops, maybe a couple years down the road, once he's more seasoned and ready, kind of like Clarkson, kind of like all these other role players, then they might be ready to come back and contribute. That's just how I feel about a Kyle Kuzma. But I love the kid. I'm always going to root for him unless he goes to Boston or the Clippers. And, if he does get traded, man, it was a pleasure to see you play here in LA, get drafted, become a fan favorite, and then eventually one of the most hated players, sadly. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Stacy says, I agree. Shout out to Stacy. Appreciate you. She said, they not signing minimums till the splash. We know that. Oh, yeah. We got to make the splash. We got to make the deal first, right? I'm not sure. There's a way to maneuver around the cap. Now, I heard that if it's a sign and trade, for a sign and trade, I heard you don't get a hard cap. I know it's all confusing, guys. But if you make a deal for somebody else that's a free agent, then I heard you don't get hard cap or something like that. I don't know. Again, the CBA is so complicated, thank you, Commissioner, for making it hard for everybody to understand. But we're gonna have to take a wait and see approach and see how Rob, who by the way studied the whole cap situation, how he maneuvers around it. Is it Kawhi Leonard? Oh no, he's not going. I think Kawhi is just gonna take his final paycheck with the Clippers, get healthy, and then move elsewhere. I'd be shocked if he moves, but I would be happy if he moves. I'm not gonna lie. He said, I'm actually getting anxious on who we picking up with the number 22 tomorrow. For me, it's either Highland, Duarte, Murphy, or Trey Mann or Springer. Love Springer, love Duarte, but I don't know if he'll be there. I heard he's been doing phenomenal in the draft combines and stuff. Murphy the third is nice too. 3-and-D wing. There's some options, guys. We got some options. Let's see, because there's always those players that slip and slide in the draft, and hopefully the Lakers will be ready to prowl on one of those if that happens. He said, hey, Dan, Lakers bringing back Jared Dudley. I like this guy. I don't know if we're bringing him back, but he's been recruiting for the Lakers. I've heard he was all over Dwight Howard comment section on Instagram. I'm trying to get him back here. So, hey, man, he's doing the Lord's work, and we're happy to have him. Is it all honesty? I think Dame Dollar and DeRozan, that pick is going in a package. In all honesty, I think it's Dame Dollar and DeRozan. No, that's impossible, bro. That's impossible. DeRozan and Dame Dollar, that's way too much. If we get that, I don't even think that's a possibility, though, with the whole cap situation. It's really tough to maneuver. Hey, shout out to Arthur, bro. Thanks for the donation on Cash App. He said, for 6 weeks of no LeBron and AD, Danny still didn't perform by Kuz. Oh, man. Look, people are really hard on Kuzma, but I prefer to remember him for what he did do for us during the regular season, especially when the injuries were there, versus what he didn't do. Okay, that's just how I choose to remember him. Again, I was always a fan of his. I'm always more attached to the players we draft. That's why I love Taylor Horn Tucker. But, I understand. It's a business. We got to get better. Didn't perform in the playoffs, so he's probably going to get moved. 99% sure he's going to get moved. I'd be shocked if training camp starts and Kuz is still on the team. I'm be like, what? That's really a shocker. Do you think Joe Ingles is a real trade target? Uh, I mean, the rumor came out today. I don't know how much truth that it has to it or whatnot, but I could see why the Lakers would try to pursue somebody like that. Yeah, I don't see why not. He says sign and trade gets hard cap. Again, it's very hard and very complex. I've seen people break it down. I've seen professionals break it down, and I still can't get it all down, man. It's a disservice to the fans, man. They should find a better way to make the cap situation easier to understand and comprehend. But of course, small market teams crying wah wah, and they get their way. They make it really hard for big market teams to operate. But it is what it is, man. We will get it done one way or another. I'm not really too concerned about who we're gonna acquire. I just want us to get better. That's all I want. That's all I want, and not just better, good enough to win a championship. He said, I live in Newark, New Jersey. He said, love your show. Been watching you for 4 years. Oh, man, the loyalty. Thank you, bro. He said, when I come to LA, I want to be on the show. He said, Westbrook, AD, LeBron equal dangerous. We might have to make that work out, man. We'll see what happens. But appreciate the support, man. You guys are truly, inspirational for me to keep going like this and to keep breaking down the sport I love and the team I love. So I appreciate that, man. He said, why do you think the Lakers are trying to move up in the draft? If I had a guess, and thanks by the way for donation as well, Mamba Mentality. If I had a guess though, the Lakers moving up in the draft could only mean one thing. Well, actually two things. Either they were enamored by a player that they think is going to be out of reach at 22, or they're going to use it in a trade package to try to acquire one of the star players I've already mentioned beforehand. So again, I have no idea what the Lakers are doing, but I wouldn't want it any other way, right? Do you want to know what your Christmas present is before Christmas? I don't. I'd rather just wake up on that Christmas Eve and just open it up, man. It's always been like that. It's the kid in me, man. He said, hey, bro, I would love to have Chris Duarte and Rob Lopez. Chris Duarte, yes. Robin Lopez, it's just really hard with players like Robin because he's a great defender, okay rebounder. He's a hustle player for sure, but he can't shoot, can't stretch the floor, and we'll see how much he demands on the open market. That's all that matters. It's all about price and price range. Now, if he comes really cheap, heck yeah, sign him on. 7-footer who can block shots, get rebounds, I'll take it. Reg Dog, appreciate you, man. DeRozan for the mid-level exception. I wish he would take that money, but I find it really hard to believe that an all-star like DeMar could take $9.5 million. I think if the Lakers do agree verbally with him, during the what do they call the moratorium period, where you can verbally agree without signing a contract. So let's just say August 1st or August 2nd, whenever free agency rolls around, comes through, and then DeMar DeRozan calls the Lakers, say, "Hey, I want in." Then the Lakers will probably maneuver to do some salary dumping to try to give him a more fair contract, and probably a multi-year deal would be in our best interest to match LeBron and AD. That way we can compete for multiple titles. So, I think that's what's going to be the option. See, people think they're simple-minded. A lot of people think, oh, we're capped out, Dan. We can't do nothing. You can always come out from under those contracts, from under the KCP contract, under the Kyle Kuzma contract. If Trez opts out, there goes that contract. And of course, Dennis not re-signing with us. You can always get out from under those and then make something happen. So we got options. We got choices, man. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. I'm going to be here, like I said, the whole first round covering pick by pick, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 Eastern. So that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Donations, likes. If you already haven't, please consider subscribing. From start to finish, year-round channel right here, man, breaking down basketball, and especially Laker basketball. So make sure you guys keep it locked. I can't wait for the draft, guys. I will see you here tomorrow. Thank you guys so very much, and have a great rest of your night. Peace out.